This will be a day long remembered. Now I am the master.
Welcome to another episode of Legends and Theories, and welcome to my, Star Wars as like a trilogy. Each trilogy is Trinity. I'm going to put them against each other in fights to see who is the most powerful. But since there are people on, different power levels, they're not going to be, in a direct fights because, the Jedi, whoever's most powerful, is going to be taking that easily. So instead, I'm put them into three categories of, the Jedi, which will be the most inexperienced besides for the third one. Pilot, whoever, did piloting in that movie, and kind of like an ally, or maybe kind of like the leader. I don't know exactly what to call this one. The three of them for the versions of the characters in each movie. So first we'll be looking at, and the only thing that's going to change is kind of positioning for the prequels. So I'm looking at for episode 1, Obi-Wan as the Jedi Padawan, Anakin as the pilot, and Padmé as kind of like ally/leader. And then this will flip in my episode 2 one. Obi-Wan will be the pilot there, since Anakin doesn't pilot any starfighters. Anakin's going to be the apprentice, but it'll be back to the other way, because it would be more fair since both, Luke and Leia are, not Luke and Rey at this point would have training, and Anakin does pilot in that. But also for both our prequel and sequel characters, they will get a few fighters with them. We'll say 6, because Han Solo will have the Millennium Falcon, and that's going to need multiple people to man it, and it's a bigger ship, and it'd be a lot harder to take out with one fighter. So they will get 6, but we'll take a look at all of these. So going to the originals, Luke will always be the Jedi, Han will always be the pilot, and Leia is the leader/ally. And finally, in the sequels, Rey is the Jedi, Poe is the pilot, and then Finn is the leader/ally, and he's the one who kind of screws up that last one because it's kind of, like one of the love interests / kind of like a leader, but Finn doesn't really follow either of those. He's not too much of a leader till the last movie. So let's take a look at this. Also and I can actually be writing it down, I have it written to the side already on a chart. For every first place win, they will get 3 points. For every second place, they'll get 2. And every third place, they'll get 1. And whoever has the most points at the end will win. And I will tell at the end how much each side has. So first, looking at the first film, we'll look at the first one, which is a fight between Obi-Wan, Luke, and Rey. And with it, Obi-Wan easily takes first place, being far more experienced and actually being able to use a lightsaber. He also is a good fighter and was able to hold his own against Darth Maul. So I have to give him third. And for this one, although I debated back and forth, I give it to Rey, since she does have to live on her own and fight off different scavengers and other people. Luke isn't super experienced in fighting, and that's why I'm giving him 1 point. But remember, this is just for their appearances in The Phantom Menace, A New Hope, and The Force Awakens. So things are going to start changing in the next one once I start to get more training in, and Obi-Wan switch out with Anakin for that round. Looking at the pilot, we have Anakin and a Naboo starfighter, with 6 Naboo starfighters with him. Han is in the Millennium Falcon by himself with, well, Chewbacca as his co-pilot and 2 gunners. And finally, Poe is in his X-Wing and has 6 other X-Wings with him. And with this, Anakin just being a kid and kind of getting lucky at the end, since he was in piloting the ship through most of it was on autopilot, although he does have R2-D2. I am giving Anakin last place. And second place will go to Poe, because I think him and his X-Wings are good, but Han Solo should be able to pull this off. And Han takes first place, giving him 3 points. Finally, with, well, the ally, or leader, and looking at it, I think this one's the one where it's probably the most close in terms of level. We don't have one that's extremely good and others that are on different levels. They each have good training, and for this I'm giving Padmé kind of the first place because she was, also trained to be a handmaiden, and they were pretty skilled. Leia I'm giving second because of her leadership in the rebellion, although it's mainly behind closed doors. And Finn, initially I was going to give him first place, but I thought about it, and Stormtrooper training basically sucks. If Finn was a clone, that'd be giving him first place easily, but since everyone was able to beat Stormtroopers so easily and their training isn't amazing, I honestly was thinking, although he has the most direct military training, it's probably the worst. And I believe that he was on his first mission in Force Awakens, so he only gets 1. And taking a look at it, we have 7 points for the prequels, 6 points for the original, and only 5 for sequels. And we'll take a look now at the second ones. So we're taking a look at all of these characters as they were in either Attack of the Clones, Empire Strikes Back, or The Last Jedi. And first with our Jedi, I think that this is a, pretty easy win on here. We have Anakin, Luke, and Rey. And Anakin, having a decade of Jedi training, gives him easily the first place. And Luke, having a few years of training, gets him second place. Although this is more of, based off of Jedi text and stuff you could find, and short lessons from a few people he met, I am still giving him second. And Rey, who had basically no training in between these movies, is getting last place. And it's related to training because both Anakin and Luke are far more skilled with lightsabers. So I have to give it to them, especially since Luke, although Vader was holding back, was able to keep up with Vader. Since Vader was, still making the blows count, but not to his full potential. Looking at pilots, I am making, I believe, a slight change, because I believe Obi-Wan's Jedi Starfighter does not have any weapons on it. And, well, that's kind of an unfair advantage, so instead, he will be using the Starfighter from the Clone Wars that does have weapons built onto it, and will have 6 other Jedi with him. And they're just, generic Jedi. And, well, Poe, he's just gonna be the same way with his X-Wings, and Han Solo the Falcon. And with this, Han, I think, again takes the win. Although Obi-Wan is decent, he does hate flying, and the Falcon is just so much better. So I think that he would be able to pull it off, although it would be close. And I think Obi-Wan would take second, and Poe will lose again. Well, not again. He got second place last time. He would lose and take only 1 point. Finally, looking at our allies, and well, Finn is going to take last place again. Padmé will take second, and Leia will take the lead again with her having a lot more experience in combat now. And although Padmé is getting a little more, I think that it still works. And now looking at our scores for this round, the prequels scored 7, the originals scored 9, and the sequels scored 3. And that's added up with the previous ones. We would have scores of 14 for the prequels, a score of 15 for the originals, and a score of 8 for the sequels. But now let's take a look at the final round. And Jedi. This one is going to be Obi-Wan versus Luke and Rey. And I think with this one, Anakin was, a little too unstable in power levels because he does become a villain. So I'm just taking him as a pilot. And that's why I switched these back to the original one. And with this, Obi-Wan, being a Jedi Master, clearly takes the win here. And then Luke, who has had another additional year of training compared to all the training he's had before, takes up second place. And Rey, having not really any training at all, mainly from Leia, who is probably more of like a Padawan at the best, takes last place with 1 point. Looking at our pilots, Anakin finally dethrones Han Solo, taking first place, getting 3 points. Han still being better than Poe, since they only get better with time, and Han's getting, well, technically was frozen in carbonite, so is still the same point, but Poe wasn't too much better. So Poe is taking last place in that one, and following with the ally/leader. Leia is taking first place. Padme is taking second, and Finn is taking first. And that gets us down to our final scores in this round. The prequels scored pretty good. They got a score of 8. You're perfect, with 9 being the highest score. The sequels, unless with originals, scored 7, and sequels again scored 3. And looking at our final scores, we have a total score of 22 for the prequels, 22 for the original, and 11 for the sequels. But we have a tie. So we're going to take a look at whoever had the more 3-star victories, or more 1-star first place. I got 3 points from it. Whoever has the most of those, unless that's a tie, will be the winner. So let's see about that. And finishing it up, we get our totals, and the prequels win with having 5 victories over the original trilogy's 4. That was a very close run for them, and honestly, it was just, I think that one of the things is why the sequels were literally at half of what they were at is because it's a pretty simple thing. I think that, honestly, the people of the sequels are on such a lower power level than all the other Star Wars characters. And what do I mean? I think that just, besides, very specific circumstances, they're not doing anything too powerful. Kylo Ren is, although trained by Luke, and, well, Snoke was an extension of Palpatine, wasn't trained too well, and didn't do too good in his fights against Rey. And if Daddy was only doing slightly better than her, she barely had any training. And the people who had, well, real power were always conveniently killed off in a pretty simple way, like Luke, who died from exhaustion, basically. Snoke, who was basically a clone cut in half. And Palpatine, who was only beat by Rey being empowered by the Force Ghost. And really, I think that there's just such a, not at a fair level, they didn't really stand a chance. In fact, in almost every round, besides in the first one, they were scoring last place. And with that one, they were literally going against people who have lived a pretty danger-free life. And they were just, slightly more dangerous circumstances. So, yeah, that's just kind of my opinion. I wonder, what do you think? Do you think they would score this way? And I'm pretty sure I didn't mess with my math, but I might have. So if I did, sorry about that. And I'll see you all in the next episode of Legends and Theories. Thank you for watching this episode of Legends and Theories. Please subscribe, like the video, share the video, leave a comment, check out the video on screen, and may the Force be with you.